I would like to welcome Srikar Nayak, Senior Economic Advisor, retired. Srikar Nayak, sir. Hello. Hello. Okay. I think there is a connection. I think Srikar Nayak is not. I would like to welcome Anshuman Kamila, the young and emerging economic officer of India. Anshuman Kamila ji.
Again, Namaskar. Am I audible?
Yes, audible.
Thank you so much for inviting me here today, and I'm really glad to be sharing the podium with eminent economists such as Nandita ma'am. Ma'am has already dealt at large with the finer nuances of the discipline that we share, and also the various opportunities and possibilities that exist if one pursues this extremely exciting field. So I think my task is made much easier in terms of what I'm supposed to speak and what extra that I and but it also makes it difficult for me to deliver what extra I can say about this field. So Lakshmi Rananji wanted me to speak some few words about how my journey has been. So, so I think I would like to focus on that. Is it okay if I use Odia also?
Yes. Yeah, no, because lot of student across the different state is joining, so it will be both Hindi and English. Because Gujarat student with us, a few Gujarat student, and from
Okay.
Pondicherry and from Rajasthan also with us. So go ahead with the, either in English or in Hindi.
Okay, thank you so much. So, at the outset, I'd like to just make the point that all my views expressed are purely my own, and it does not represent the views of any institution that I'm affiliated to, and they should not be construed as such. So, with that clarification, let me just speak about some the journey that I've made. So I was schooled in Bhubaneswar in DFE Public School Chandrasekharpur, and then for my graduation I moved to St. Stephen's College, Delhi University for bachelor's in arts. Subsequently, I did my master's from Delhi School of Economics in economics, and then after a brief 1 year respite, I took up MPhil at Jawaharlal Nehru University, Delhi. It is during my MPhil that I was also preparing for the Indian Economic Service as well as Reserve Bank of India Grade B DEPR exam. Incidentally, I cleared the DEPR exam right during my MPhil preparation, and I was working with the RBI for a year. And it is during my training with the RBI that my results for the Indian Economic Service were announced, and I moved to Indian Economic Service. So this is briefly my journey. Uh, I should now like to speak about the 3 attempts I wrote for the Indian Economic Service. Often what happens is that when a person becomes successful, although I don't deem my success a very great one, but when success happens, people tend to overemphasize on the success, and sometimes tend to neglect or ignore that there's a lot of failure, or there's a lot of disappointment that goes on before the success actually comes your way. So I'd like to dwell upon the first 2 attempts that I wrote more. So first attempt was when I did not have any dedicated practice apart from my MS studies. Nanita ma'am rightly pointed out that you need to do a lot of studying on your own, particularly financial newspapers, and practicing diagrams, learning figures. So these are things I did not do, and predictably so I couldn't clear. I was a bit shaken, but I understood that this exam needed lot more than just revising one's notes from MA or PA days. So first year was that way, and the second year I had a good practice of questions, particularly past year questions, and also read a lot of newspapers and got a grip on the kind of figures and facts that one needs to substantiate one's point in answers. But I could not get enough marks, so particularly the paper on Indian economy in general, that did not go well, so I could not do as well. I couldn't clear, although I had very good marks in my interview. But in the third attempt, everything seemed to fall in place, so I could muster enough marks both in the written as well as the interview, and thankfully I was able to clear. And it was of course God's grace entirely that I got rank 1. So rank 1 does not depend at all on your own practice. Of course, a lot of it depends on clearing the exam, but rank 1 is just a matter of few marks. So that should always be kept in mind. So in the end, I should just like to summarize by summarize my preparation strategy by saying that, first of all, about how to prepare, you will get enough material on YouTube. There are 2 videos of my own on YouTube, which I might like to put on the meeting chat right after this, after I've stopped speaking. So those are there. I think so that will broadly give you the list of resources that is required for writing this exam. Also, there are similar videos available from my other colleagues, other batchmates, and also people who have cleared the exam in previous years on the similar line. So you can always refer to them. Second thing is that writing practice is very essential, I think, because irrespective of how much you know, there's always a time constraint, and you need to be very sure about how much you need to write and how well you can portray them. And in writing practice, one needs to, of course, pay a great deal of attention to putting figures and diagrams, of blending them very well in the written word, because there's nothing that conveys a message as crisply that a diagram can, a well drawn diagram can. So that is important. Thirdly, time management, which flows directly from writing practice, because irrespective of how well you write 1 or 2 answers, it's very important for you to complete as many answers as possible, and if preferably all the answers if possible. So time management is of the essence. So that's why completing the questions is important. Fourth, you need to pay attention to using Indian examples or Indian data to substantiate the point you are making. So suppose there's a question on Indian agriculture and you're talking about landholding. So then you need to actually quote figures as to how landholding per capita basis has fallen over time, let's say from 2.3 in 1971 to 1.16 in 2011. These are just figures that I have recently read, but these are kind of figures that you need to commit to memory if you intend to make a good impression on whoever is evaluating the paper. And I think it makes sense, because even if you were to evaluate a paper, you would like to give more marks to a person who has quoted these figures rather than someone who's just talking off the top of their head without use of any figures as such. So also, when you're writing answers, it's always good to take figures from reputable publications. Don't say that I have read this figure in, let's say, a pamphlet that I read while coming to the exam. So always try to refer to figures from, let's say, the National Commission for Farmers or a UNDP publication or something of that sort. So that is very important. So the second last thing I want to dwell upon is a general advice. So I think it's always important that it's always important for you to have a plan B. So Nandita ma'am was referring to economics as being the art of the second best alternative. Often in life one does not get the second. Often in life one does not get the best. So one needs to have a second best, so that one can at least be happy. And also getting the second best gives you some sort of confidence that if I've reached this far, I did not come this far to only come this far. So it's always important to have a plan B. So I would like to say that Reserve Bank of India Grade B DEPR was my plan B. So because I could not clear the Indian Economic Service, so I got through RBI Grade B, and of course it helped me a great deal in my third and last attempt, because it conveyed a very good impression about my existing skill sets and the possible for possible value addition that I can do to my job as an Indian Economic Service officer. So having a plan B always helps. So please have a plan B. Secondly, I want to say that it's always important to practice smart work. So I have seen a lot of people who, including myself, who do a lot of hard work but do not do as well. But there are people who know how to plan their work, how to read only those things which are very important, and getting through hurdles in life very well. So always it's important to do smart work. So this of course comes with practice, and you need to adopt this strategy as efficiently as possible. I think it's important to do smart work, because if you have spent all your energy doing only economics or doing only clearing the exam, you have nothing left to enjoy your life as such. So for enjoying your life, you need to do a bit of smart work. I'm still working on it, so I can't give you any rough and ready advice to do this, but you need to somehow come around to the idea of doing smart work. And the last thing is to say that you need to pursue an extracurricular activity. When you clear the service, any service for that matter, or when you get into any career, there's always going to be some extra edge that you need to have over and above all your peers, which will give you happiness, or which will give you recognition. So I have just returned from the Lal Bahadur Shastri National Academy of Administration, where we were sent for the foundation course, and Indian Economic Service was being represented there after 27 long years. So it was, of course, a very fortunate thing for us to be attending the foundation course there. And I realized that after having cleared the civil services or the Indian Economic Service exams, which are one of the toughest in terms of rigor and what it takes to clear these exams, there are so many people displaying so varied levels and varieties of extracurricular activity: photography, dance, song, drawing, and so many other things. I mean, there are some things which I didn't hear of, which I didn't think or imagine that these things would exist. But they have known this art, they have perfected this art, and that's what makes the entire ecosystem rich and more vibrant. So always try to pick up something that's around you, or which you think that gives you pleasure, and try to pursue it to a certain degree of fineness and perfection. So always have an extracurricular activity. Lastly, I would just like to say that for people from Odisha in particular, there's been a lot of syllabus revision in terms of economics teaching in Odisha, and with that, really, it has been pegged a level that is that helps you to write the Indian Economic Service exam. So if you follow that very religiously and rigorously, you will be very well placed with regard to clearing the exam. So with these concluding remarks, I finish my intervention. Thank you so much for inviting me, and thank you for your patience in listening to me.
Thank you, Anshumanji.